we would begin with our first keynote speech on the topic of interdependence between in-house and external counsel, for which I would like to invite upon stage Dr. Lalit Bhasin, President of the Society of Indian Law Firms, India. Dr. Lalit Bhasin holds the prestigious position of President of the Society of Indian Law Firms. With a wealth of experience in the legal field, he has been a driving force in shaping the landscape of Indian law firms. Please have a huge round of applause for Dr. Lalit Bhasin, everyone.
Our esteemed guest, Mr. Tushar Mehta, the dynamic Solicitor General of India, Mr. Sebeka from the United States Embassy, all the distinguished participants from India and overseas. We have gathered today to discuss various issues which concern the corporate world, which also concern the legal professionals, whether they are external counsel or they are in-house counsel. When we talk about the general counsel, we are talking about the corporate world, because general counsel represent the corporates. And corporate world is backbone of the economy. Without effective and good corporate practices, corporate world, you see, the economies cannot grow. Economies are dependent upon the development of corporates, the business, the commerce between, not just among the Indian, say, in the Indian context in the country, but now it is globalized. All transactions have to take into consideration what are the contemporaneous developments which are taking place all over. So in the corporate world, there are certain pillars of strength. For instance, the CFOs, the CEOs, the board of directors, the managing director, chairperson. But the backbone is the role of the general counsel. Everyone needs the help and guidance, as rightly pointed out by the learned Solicitor General. They are dependent upon the guidance to be given, you see, by the general counsel with regard to not only the compliances, but what are the issues. Whether a deal which you are contemplating, you means the corporate is contemplating, whether that is practical, feasible, legal, and sustainable. These are the issues which the general counsel will consider. And as the learned Solicitor General pointed out, that yes, you can please the board by saying yes, please go ahead, everything is fine. All hunky-dory, nothing to be worried about. But your role as a lawyer, because you are committed, you have taken that oath, even if your license is kept in abeyance, that you will adhere, you see, to the spirit of law. Therefore, your role is to guide properly regarding the compliances so that no illegality is committed, you see, by the company. Or to find ways, you see, to evade anything. Evasion is bad, avoidance is not bad, as people say in income tax matters, that you may legally avoid payment of tax, but you cannot evade, you know. Therefore, trying to find possible solutions is like avoiding certain pitfalls, but not evasions. Evasion means you are contravening the law, which only the general counsel can tell, you see, the corporate world. Now, how does the role of the external counsel come in? The general counsel, because of their vast experience, particularly in the field in which they are operating, they represent that corporate world. They have excellent experience, wide and varied, not just you see on matters of contract or anything, but they have to cover everything. And they do their own legal research also. Therefore, when you come to an external counsel, the external counsel must know that you people have done your spade work. Therefore, you ought to know more than what you see the general counsel knows, which may not be possible practically. I have seen it, you see, because we learn from the general counsel. Therefore, this sort of an interdependence between general counsel and external counsel is definitely there, but the interdependence is more on the part of external counsel, because they will be conveyed what is the issue, what is the problem, what can be the possible solutions, you see, and then the external lawyer's role comes in to advise, you see, the corporate world through the general counsel that yes, this is the way forward, or no, you cannot go forward. This is in essence, you see, the relationship which exists. The learned Solicitor General has pointed out why you can't appear for your clients. Yes, party can appear in person, but this issue has been raised by the Society of Indian Law Firms with the Bar Council of India, because your license is suspended because you are in employment and therefore your license is suspended. We have taken up the issue with the Bar Council that at least for those whom you represent, who are your employers, you should be allowed, you see, to practice in your own name as lawyers, not as, you see, power of attorney holders of that corporate body. Therefore, I don't want this role of your general counsel to be relegated to that of a holder of a power of attorney or party appearing in person. I want you to appear as lawyers who can certainly legally appear on behalf of the company with which they are employed with. The role of external counsel becomes relevant with regard to what are the contemporaneous developments taking place all over the world, because we are not just confined when we are advising clients in India here. We must know what are the implications, whether it is there going to be a merger and acquisition, IPOs, LPOs, and all that. So Honorable Solicitor General has to leave for the Supreme Court. Okay. Yeah. So this sort of a role is very significant, because the general counsel, they may be familiar with their corporate practices, the culture, the work practice, which the external counsel may not know. They would not know. Therefore, this sort of a bonding is required. This relationship has to grow, and it is growing because of the events like this which are being organized, you see, by LexTalk and other organizations. You also have to play a very significant role so far as the chambers of commerce are concerned. The General Counsel must participate very actively with the chambers of commerce, whether it is CII, FICCI, SOCHM or any other chambers, because the corporate world is represented in those chambers, and your advice during the meetings of those chambers, during the deliberations of those chambers, will have a very, very vital impact, not only on the corporate body whom you represent, but the entire industry, the entire corporate world. Therefore, please, my appeal to you is take very active interest so far as the chambers are concerned. You should tell your employers, the companies, you see, that you should be permitted to attend all the important events which are being held, which have some legal implications. And every event will have some legal implications or the other, because the topics are diverse. It may be on taxation, it may be on foreign investments, it may be on exchange regulations. So everywhere the chambers of commerce, they do discuss that. I happen to chair, you see, the CII National Committee on Legal Services, and I have a very good following from amongst, you see, the General Counsel. And we learn a lot when we have this exchange of views. Therefore, my humble suggestion to you is that this mutual understanding and bonding needs to be encouraged. We external counsel have to learn a lot from the General Counsel, because your area of activity is quite diverse. You are not advising your corporate world only on taxation issues, or only on breach of contract, or only on merger and acquisition. You advise on each and every aspect after doing your homework, after doing your research, which we as external counsel don't do. We only do our research when a client comes to us, this is the issue, then we start looking into everything. But so far you people are concerned, it is on your fingertips. Therefore, please keep on educating the external counsel in the way you are doing it. And I can say with some daring certainty that I have learnt a lot during my 62 years of law practice. You see that what important role the General Counsel, the in-house counsel, they play, and how we as corporate law advisors, as external counsel, have to learn from them. So thank you very much for inviting me here, and grateful to the Solicitor General that he took time. I know he's got a matter fixed at 10:30 in the Supreme Court, and so thanks a lot. Thank you.